So let's talk about some of those moments that have gotten attention with her. That jacket that she wore, I really don't care, do you? As she was heading to the border to meet with children who had been taken away, separated indefinitely from their parents, why did she wear that jacket?
Well, when I spoke with her, when she and I spoke about it afterwards, I told her I would have jumped on her. I don't know if I put that in the book or not, but anyway. And Melania told me nobody would be able to jump on me because Melania makes her own decisions. Hervé, Pierre, her stylist, I actually sent him a picture, a screenshot of it.
Because you were upset by it. When you saw it, you realized
I didn't think it was
that's
real.
the wrong thing. You didn't think, you thought it was a Photoshop photo.
And so did Hervé.
It was that shocking.
And so did Hervé. And Hervé started getting the most terrible tweets. His inbox started being flooded with how dare you, what kind of legacy are you leaving? And I begged the White House communications to make a comment that this had nothing to do with Hervé. And so that's just a whole nother set. I mean, again.
Yeah, but why did she do it?
Because she wanted everyone to know that she went to the border. She did not feel the press would cover a good deed, right? She felt the press only wanted to cover something that was damaging to the administration. She had now been, once I had gone, I really tried to keep her separate from Donald, and we did. I mean, we were not working on any of his policy. We were building our own initiative. The messaging was different. That jacket was really the first representation of Melania going on her own in her office saying, it's just a jacket. It's anything but just a jacket.
So in other words, just so I understand this, that was an attention-grabbing stunt that she intentionally did because she knew it would get the press's attention.
Right, and I don't think she realized that it would get the negative attention.
How could she not know that a jacket that says she doesn't care as she goes to see children wouldn't get
Because
negative?
the interpretation that I took from it, again, just from someone knowing her, was, oh my God, Melania, why didn't your office just come out and say, I don't care what liberals say, I don't care what conservatives say, I don't care what anybody says. I'm doing the right thing and I'm going to the border. That's the messaging, because I do think deep in her heart that was there, but it got so convoluted and nobody communicates, nobody really cares to help her cover. What's entirely wrong. Doesn't matter. The reality is she wore it to get attention. How I perceived it was because of how I viewed her as a friend.
Can you explain her relationship with Ivanka? And let me just show you this video that became a viral video. This was from the RNC, where you just see sort of the public persona shift to something else.
Right.
And obviously there are memes about this, but you know the real story, you know the backstory. What's the relationship between those two women?
You see, I take that and I look at it completely different than everybody else. I actually saw that Melania was trying to smile, represent properly, not show any type of friction between the two of them. And Ivanka walked right by her and looked at Donald and ignored Melania. And that's my take on it. I don't think it was the other way around.
Okay, but you also happen to know that there is friction.
Oh, there's palace intrigue. I've never seen, you can't make a show up about it. Ivanka usurped Melania in every way that she possibly could. And it's unfortunate because as the First Lady of the United States, you expect to go into the White House and have some form of assistance as well as budgets, as well as access. There was really, keep saying, it's like banging my head against the wall. Ivanka wanted to control really her place in the administration. So she really was, they call her, Melania called her princess, we called her princess. She really is the princess who wanted to be queen. And she broke all the rules to get there. And the rules don't apply to her.
So Ivanka wanted to be the first lady, basically. She wanted the role of the first lady.
Oh, absolutely. And that was another, reason why I felt it was really important for Melania to participate in some of the things that she didn't really want to go to, because Ivanka would step in otherwise.
And when you say she was trying to usurp Melania's place, in the book, I was fascinated to read about the budgetary things. What was Ivanka doing that ended up casting Melania's office aside?
Well, we had when I first went into the White House and there was nobody there, I was the first one alone. Originally, Melania had given me a staff list, an org chart of about 25 people. It ended up being 6 people. I even hired my cousin to be a policy director and Melania's assistant, and then I took her salary away to give it to somebody else. I had originally a salary, the $179,000, assistant to the president. I didn't have a salary to give the chief of staff, so I gave up my salary.
Because Ivanka took it all?
Because the West Wing and Ivanka had already staffed all of their positions and used all of the titles that correspond to the budgets.
And was President Trump aware of this? Why is that allowed to happen?
Well, I think the West Wing was in their relationship with Ivanka, and I don't want to name names, but when you talk about the chief of staff and Reince Priebus and Katie Walsh, I mean, there are relationships that were built before getting into the White House, and so that led to an easier transition for Ivanka and one that was impossible for Melania.
You talk about a very strategic photo op. Melania and Ivanka both wanted to be at the side, you say, of President Trump as he was sworn in. And so you and Melania had to kind of mastermind how to cut Ivanka out. So what happened?
So I really want to set this record straight, and thank you for asking that. It wasn't so much that Ivanka really wanted to be in that iconic photo. She had sent me 2 photos of the Obamas and where they were placed. It was more of we had to do that. I mean, it was always Ivanka wanted to be right next to her father.
Where did she want Melania?
Who knows?
So she wasn't featured. She just wanted to be standing next to Donald Trump as he was sworn in. Ivanka did, and she didn't care where Melania was in that picture.
She didn't even ask. She just wanted to make sure that she was in that picture.
Okay, so then what did you do?
So then Melania and I spoke about it, and we made sure that Barron, Melania, and Donald were centered to the photograph, which meant Ivanka had to be moved over.
How did you do that?
Well, I explain it in the book, and I think someone has to read the book to know. But no, basically, we knew where they were going to be standing and where they were going to be positioned with the angles of the cameras. Fortunately, I wasn't allowed to actually be there myself, so I had some of the producers there sketch out who was sitting where and take a few screenshots secretly and send them to me.
It worked very well, because if we can re-rack that video that we just played, you don't see Ivanka in it. So if you could see, okay, so obviously there's the Chief Justice, and there, okay, so actually you do see Ivanka, but she's sort of in half screen.
And we expect that, right? But not right that, so in the right there. So in the White House, that's the photograph hanging on the wall. And that is, I don't think that Melania would have enjoyed walking past, or no, Melania wouldn't have enjoyed walking past that photograph every day if it was she, Ivanka, and Donald.
It sounds very icy. So in other words, there is a battle royale of some kind between these 2 women.
Oh, there is a battle royale. I mean, it's friction, suspicion, deceit, deception. I mean, it doesn't stop. But again, I think that, Melania wanted to go into the role and actually do some good with it. But the barriers that went up around us and the blockades that came from the West Wing and the family, the other side, Ivanka, and Jared, was just, it was impossible.